Hello, everyone. Let's gather together, please. Welcome to the first panel of the APLANET Summit 2025. We're thrilled to kick off the day with a critical conversation in the intersection of sustainability, data, and digital innovation. The title of today's panel is Scaling Sustainability Through Responsible Smart Technology. As we all know, technology is accelerating faster than ever, but can it help save the planet? Today, we will explore how emerging technologies like AI, big data, or the Internet of Things are being harnessed to drive real ESG impact, and how we can ensure that innovation aligns with responsibility, ethics, and long-term transformation. We'll look at practical use cases, risks, and forward-looking strategies that helps organizations move from compliance to measurable action and from data to insights and to impact. Let me introduce our speakers. First is José María Álvarez. José María is our CTO at APLANET. He's a tech advisor and a startup mentor. With more than 15 years of experience, José María has been driving force behind purpose, high-driven tech products, and ESG innovation. He's passionate about building technologies that scale with intention and impact. Welcome, Jose.
Thank you.
And now I have Mario Messuri. Mario is a senior executive advisor at Tesisquare. They are partners with over 30 years of experience, and we've been competing also in the past too. With over 30 years of experience in procurement and supply chain transformation, Mario has led more than 180 digital projects and served in leadership and roles at Unilever, Bravo Solutions, and now at Tesisquare. You've been helping businesses across all of Europe, and we're thrilled to have you here today.
Thank you too. I hope that we can do this conversation really emotional and engaged.
That's the idea. Thank you both for being here with us. Let's dive in some key questions to explore how smart technologies are transforming the ESG space. These questions are for both of you. How can emerging technologies like AI and automation move us from ESG reporting to real-time decision-ready impact management, especially in fast-scaling or complex organizations?
Can I start? Okay, different from the statement of the previous speaker, let me say I'm not sure that we need real-time data in ESG. Because, as the speaker said, ESG is a process, it's a long process. And the point is that maybe nowadays the real data, near the real data maybe is helpful, but real data is not important now. The AI is super useful to do a lot of job to compare. I used the AI to compare the sustainability report that you gave me to understand which is my judgment and which is the judgment of AI. So for sure, to gather data, to have data in the process, to rewrite data, to analyze, to compare can be useful, but not for the evaluating. Because to evaluate data, you have to be sure that inside the AI, there are not bias. I tested a lot AI for some researches. And sometimes I had the suspect that AI is copying the other AI because the information are in a network, in a neural system. So it's incredible that in some topics, also if you put in the prompt some doubts, and the system give you an answer that is absolutely the same. So let me say, I think that AI, the LLM general purpose, is not sufficient, but for sure, you know that the future will be AI vertical agent that are trained to do this kind of job. So you will have in market a lot of AI. Already you have this, a lot of agent that are specialized in industry and in vertical topics to compare contract, to do research, to analyze data, but in a vertical way. So maybe not in a long time, but in 1 year and a half, 2 years, maybe we will be a lot of services, plug and play of agent that you can use to analyze your data, to help in your vertical business. This is my vision.
Great. What do you think, Jose?
I fully agree that we don't need real-time data. It makes no sense. You don't take strategic decisions based on what happened yesterday. You take a strategic decision based on what happened last year and compare it with the previous year. So real-time probably is not necessary. But there are some use cases that are interesting in AI and automatization. I think one of the biggest problems of ESG data is totally unstructured. You collect the data from many data sources that are totally different, and curate all this information and extract insights is really, really hard. With AI and automatization, this process could be easier and collect this information and start to asking things or generate reports that give you some value to really take decisions. But one important thing that you mentioned is bias. All AIs have bias because are based in the data that you use to train them. So if you are using bad data, not relevant data, you cannot rely on what the AI is saying to you. So you need to be very careful about what LLMs are you using, what agents are you using, and all this information. But regarding automation, I think it's really, really interesting to use some integration that we are doing now. 3 years ago, collecting information was a pain and was the real pain of ESG, how to extract all the information from different business units and systems. Now we are in the next level. Integrate your CRM, integrate your Excels, integrate all your information that is totally separated in all your company in one place. I think it's something that automation can do and ensure that the data flows in a very automatic way to your dashboards and avoid manual things. That manual things are not a good idea and takes a lot of time.
Yeah, imagine that in the past I did another experiment in another company I cannot name, but we tried to understand the ESG of a company only using AI.
Mm-hmm.
We take all the information, where they produce, the industry, the categories, countries, number of people, and consumption, and put in AI. After, without asking nothing to their supply chain. So just to understand where they have their tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, just for location. After we compare, we bring from public data, all the ESG report of their competitor, and then we analyze this with the AI, and we, in less than 1 week, we create a ESG report. Mm-hmm. After we did the same, studying double materiality and so on, with manual data, collecting exactly the consumption, exactly all the supply chain, with the questionnaire, with the real answer from their suppliers. The difference of data is that we did a mistake of 10%. But we take 1 month of work with AI to do the extraction, the prompting to the AI, and to do the normal process, we take more than 6 months. So the point is acceptable 10% of mistake in a trade-off with 6 months of job with related cost, and 1 month of work? Let me say, if I would like to be super accurate, maybe it's a mixture of AI and manual.
Correct. Yeah.
That's the story. For sure, if I have only 2 months, to publish my sustainability report because the law say that I have to do this, maybe AI can be useful.
Exactly.
That's-
Exactly, because if you change your strategy and take decision based on the AI report and you consider that it's fully correct, maybe you made mistakes.
Yeah.
Or if you present this report to an auditor or
Yeah.
a regulator, you probably will fail because you don't know what is this 10%. You know the 10% when you compare with the manual one.
Yeah.
So I think it's like a helper, a superpower that you can use to improve your process. But you cannot rely 100% the process inside an AI.
Absolutely, I agree. For now, I agree. Maybe with the experience
Today.
agent, today,
Today,
yeah,
today.
yeah, yeah.
Tomorrow we
The-
will see, but
the
today-
point is that AI and the agent are going really fast.
Yeah.
So a lot of companies are going deep in dive to give the correct instruction and to create the agent already prepared for this. So the point is how long time it take to create the agent for ESG.
I not agree with you in one thing. I think you are too much optimistic. One of the
Because I'm old.
Yeah, probably not more than me. But my point is, agents are very, very fast. The problem with ESG is there is not enough data to train the LLMs. When you need to compare, for example, your company with other companies in the industry, you don't have enough data to do a very good train for an LLM. It's not the same that images that you just need to go to Instagram or any other place and have tons of images to train your LLM. But if you are, for example, here in Spain, a IBEX 35 company, you only have 35 companies to compare, and probably are not in the same industry. So you don't have enough data to train your own LLMs. We need more.
More, yeah.
And it's other consideration for people that are starting to think start to collect information about ESG. They need to start as soon as possible because they need history. You cannot take decision based on one data.
On one data.
You need an evolution, the previous year, the year before, or something like that. Maybe you need to collect all the ESG information, but you can start with something. Maybe consumptions, maybe waste, maybe some key points for you. But they need to start now.
Yeah.
If they want to have enough data to do interesting information, to have interesting information.
For sure. We have to start.
Yes, please start now.
And once people start, I want to continue the conversation because there's a lot of excitement around AI and ESG. I've seen a lot of people talking about it. We've been discussing a lot internally about the use cases of how to actually implement AI within our tool that makes sense and obviously complies with all the laws that we have to comply. But there's also a lot of risks. So what are some of the key challenges or ethical considerations that organizations should keep in mind when integrating tech into their sustainability strategies? And with tech, I mean tech and AI.
Okay,
Go
let me say
ahead.
this. I lead a lot of technological company. I don't know how to write one script in any code, but along these 32 years of leadership in this company, I understood that it's impossible to have a real safety technology. First, is a super cybersec safety technology is a fantasy. Technology can fail every time. First. Second, you can mitigate your risk and make it more safety. Nowadays, the AI, you can buy the service. You can use in your instance the service with your data set. So you can buy something that is not completely trained. You have to completely train with only your data set. So in terms of compliance with data protection, maybe you are compliant. can you be sure that your data stay in your instance and cannot outside? It depends from the security that you can create, the firewall, or the security that you can create around. Let me say, for sure you have some risk, because imagine that you would like to put in AI the calculation of gender people, so you have to put information around single people, single employees. So it's a sensitive data that you are using and you are putting in your AI. But totally safety is impossible. Maybe it depends in which way you can mitigate your risk, how much risk you would like to run, and which is the trade-off. This is my opinion.
Fully agree. You need to be very careful about what is the information that you share with all these services, because data protection, especially in Europe, is really aggressive with this.
Yeah.
And if you forgot to delete the column of the IDs of your employees, you are basically
not compliant.
I don't know how to say it in a polite way in English. Okay, so one of the risks is data protection, but there are more. Bias, we mentioned before.
Yeah.
All these training LLMs have bias. Other one could be transparency. I mean, when you take decision based on AI, sometimes you need to share what information have the AI. They use EFRAG documents, what they use to suggest these insights that you take as real. So transparency is the other one. Governance, if you take a decision based on AI and AI fail, you cannot say, hey, was the AI?
Yeah,
You have
the full responsibility of the output.
Exactly,
Yeah,
so you need to be very careful with that. And probably the last one is a little bit of tech washing. I don't know if exists this word, tech washing, that if your process is not working and you put an AI label in the top, you are not solving your problems. Or basically say, no, with AI and now I'm doing it in the right way. No, your process is still not working.
Yeah.
So, but there are risks, so there are opportunities to do it. Yeah, you can train your all LLMs and you are more careful with the data protection. Yeah, but it requires time, more money, specialists, people that knows how to do that. Okay, you need to keep a balance at a trade-off, what you mentioned before, to mitigate this risk.
And this is a bit off script, but when you discuss about AI, LLMs, basically we're talking about services. So we're talking about Claude, Anthropic, ChatGPT, whatever. But what do you got? And I'm not sure if this is maybe with you, Jose. What do you think about using AI locally within companies to try to encapsulate that information and try to mitigate this public disclosure of the information? It will keep all the other liabilities, but this one specifically, do you think this is a good idea for companies to invest in running local LLMs within their
Being
tech stack?
honest, not in the beginning. You need before to see if it makes sense for you or not, because it requires a lot of time. You need to collect a lot of data. You need to organize a lot of data sets to train your models, and then have people that can train these models and integrate in your processes and in your services. Probably it's a long time project and it's too expensive.
Yeah.
So, and you don't know if it makes sense until the end. So probably I suggest to go first with a more ready-made service to explore the possibilities. And if it makes sense, go ahead with the expensive one.
Okay, fantastic. Well, this for you, Mario. With your background in supply chain innovation, how can companies ensure full product traceability and responsibility sourcing using digital tools like DPP or proactive analysis?
Just to have a bridge with the speeching with the previous speaker, let me change just the angle. First of all, why you are committed in sustainability? Everyone would like to save the planet, for sure. Everyone would like to have a super sustainable and circularity in their company, maybe. But let me say, we are in this room and we are businessmen. So the point is, I believe in sustainability if sustainability can help me to sell more. It's cynic, not much more. But just to remind, because I repeat, I'm 60 and sometimes I don't remember that. Before the speaker mentioned some research. One is the PwC that say that consumers can spend more, 9.7% high price, premium price, if this product is sustainable. Harvard Business Review say that the price is important, but every time, every year, more people are putting attention on sustainability of the product that they buy. There is a really interesting research of Nielsen Company. Do you know Nielsen Company? Is a researcher on consumer product food packaged. They divide the consumers in 4 categories. People that are convinced, but not until the not totally. The believer, people full convinced, so typically is Gen Z. People that are using sustainability by opportunity, just to say, I buy the Napapiri jacket with the one tissue and the super circular and sustainable. I don't know if you know the case history. And some people, a cluster of people that denied totally that this world can be saved. We are all, our destiny is the extinction, so it's not useful to speak about sustainability. The 4 cluster that take care, who is believer, who is convinced, skeptical, but can believe, they only in Italy, they have a value of 14 billion euro of consumption. So the question is, if we would like to capture these consumers, we have to declare something about our product. But we cannot be a liar. Because I don't know if you ever studied in past neuroscience around marketing. If you have to buy these 2 phones, these 2 mobile, they have the same price. The vendors is a wonderful woman in 2 stores. 2 stores are close to your home. The price is the same, and this is more sustainable because there is a declaration. Which mobile do you choose? And
Yes.
if this mobile has a price that is 20% less than this one, and you have the same assistant, the same guarantee, and the wonderful vendors, which phone you choose this?
This is why I'm in APLANET.
Yeah, because you are a planet. Okay, because you are a believer.
Exactly.
So, but the point is that when we buy something, in our background, in our minds, you have it's a pity that I have a slide to explain this. You compare in your mind quality, brand reputation, brand loyalty, store loyalty, convenience. That convenience is not price, it's a mixture of price, time, facilities, and so on, and price. So the point is, when in your brain the leverage of sustainability will be a key differentiator. And like him, you can choose for a higher price, more sustainable product. When this kind of situation will be massive, will spread in market, maybe old company will start and they will go fast in understanding how they can become more sustainable. But, and here we are with the Tesi technologies, we succeed in collecting all the minimal and accurate information around the supplier, around product, the quality of product, the schedule of product, the bill of material, all the information related to the bill of material, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 of the supply chain, all the technology related for transportation management system, so I can, in an accurate way, I can define how much is the carbon footprint related to this lot, to this batch, not to the product in general, but I can do this order by order, batch management by batch management. So in each batch that a company buy for their supplier, I can map, track and trace all this information. I can collect all this information. I can give to the company the satellite map to understand where is the source, the initial source of raw material. And I can collect all this information. I can give this information to an engine of APD or like PEFTRAS or the other one. And I can calculate the CO2. I can also collect all this information for EUDR regulation.
Yeah, the difference.
So the point is that we are doing this for Lavazza, we are doing this for Barilla, we are doing this for LVMH. And the point is that it's a huge work because you have to do this product by product, bill of material for bill of material. You have to create the genealogy of the composition of your product, and you have to collect a lot of information. Why this? Because this company knows, they know really well that reputation has a super huge value. And if they would like to create a trust with their consumers, they cannot be a liar. Imagine that after you buy this phone, 20% more, you discover that all the information in the RFID that demonstrate the sustainability, something is false. You will never buy this phone
brand again.
Yeah, and this company lost you as a consumer for all their life.
And all the believers like me.
Yeah, absolutely. And they can, in some case, they can have greenwashing, corruption. They can have a claim and so on. Mm-hmm. So let me say, if you would like to create a trustability with Gen Z, with the consumers of the future, I'm happy to see a lot of young people in this session. You have to be really accurate in collecting correct information and a good engine to calculate your CO2.
I totally agree with what you said, because obviously reputation takes a long time to be built, and it just takes 1 second to be completely destroyed.
Absolutely.
May I say a couple of things?
Of course.
Sorry.
Okay, one interesting thing about what you mentioned is about demographics. If your product, your company your customers are Gen Z, they are more believer on ESG and climate change than us.
Yeah.
Because they want to keep the world as it is because they are going to leave them. For us, maybe less. Okay. And other thing is, one of the regions that have suffered in the climate change more are Africa. And I don't remember exactly the numbers, I always forget. I saw some studies that the region that is growing more in people is Africa. And the average age is totally different than Europe, and in Europe we are older and older and older. So in a mid-long term, you need to be more careful about this type of people too.
Yeah.
If you want to have your company running for really, really long term. And the other thing, I think ESG is not only about reputation. There are other things that could be interesting for your company, that is the efficiency. if you are tracking something like waste or water consumption or something like that, and you are detecting that you have some I don't know how to say it. Sorry, you are not efficient in maybe
Inefficient.
some of your headquarters or maybe some of your countries or cities or buildings or something like that. Even if you don't care about ESG, you know that you have a problem there.
Yeah, for sure. But
So-
let me say that another question for the previous speaker, but I don't want to take a lot of time. You know that in all the transformation, you have 3 stages. The first stage is the evangelist stage. So someone that go all around the world and say, okay, guys, maybe the world must be changed. We have to redesign our product. We cannot create waste and blah, blah, blah. Okay. After the evangelist phase, you have a pioneers phase. So someone that believe in evangelist and decide to invest.
Yeah.
And okay. And then you have a mature phase. The point is, which is the stage now? We are evangelist,
Probably
we are
the first one.
pioneer, and I agree with you. There is a lot of part of the world that sustainability is not a matter. And in another part of the world, sustainability is a matter. But the point is, maybe the evangelism around sustainability is not the same, and there is not the same pressure in all the regions of the world.
Yeah, but I think it's because of what I mentioned before. We don't have history to compare and see that
Yeah.
ESG data can make you be more efficient. If we need more use cases, more success cases about how focus on ESG can help your company and can make your company more efficient, more attractive, attract more people because you are more gender equal, there is no
Yeah.
data breach, all these really, really valuable things for a company,
it's a
and not
super-
in,
yeah, the topic
in a
is
brand
super
point of
young,
view.
yes.
Yeah. So as soon as people start to share all this information and share all these use cases, probably talk with finance people will be easier. Because sometimes it's a little bit difficult.
Maybe for sure when it will be mature, I hope it will be fast.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that I will be here.
No?
I hope to stop working, but no, I'm joking. But the point is that for sure the acceleration of this topic have 2 drivers. First, if as I told before, is in the mind of consumers, sustainability is a leverage to choose something. For sure, you have an acceleration in a major region. For sure, US, Europe, maybe Asian or Eurasia, and the second one is how much is the pressure all over the world about this topic, and the evangelist job can go faster and faster in the other country, and in this way you have the acceleration. For sure, the harmonization of the law is important, but let me say, it's not possible to lead and to drive a business only starting from the law. From the regulation. So for sure, you can have an acceleration if this is a point, a key differentiator to make more business.
Correct, yeah. You need to align these 2 things.
We, in internal discussions and talking with people that I've seen today in the audience, AFI, for example, and other consultants, at the end of the day, I think sustainability is gonna either get at the same level as finance or be absorbed by finance, one of 2. But the decisions of businesses need to have both sides. One is the financial side. Without the money, you just can't make any projects.
Yeah.
But you need to understand the leverage that being a sustainable business gives you and the edge in terms of competitiveness, as you mentioned before. So I totally agree with what you guys said. Let's change a bit the discussion. This is for you, Jose. From your perspective as CTO, what does responsible tech development look like in practice? Because there's a huge difference between what we
Theory,
discuss
yeah.
during sales calls and what it actually looks like when you're doing your job. And how do we build systems that evolve with the complexity that sustainability demands?
Easy to answer.
Yes, yes. No. Okay, first of all, you need to have ESG people inside your team. So you need to understand how the data looks like, how you collect the data, what are the restriction of this data. I mean, if you need to present a report or to a regulator based on the data that your system collected, you need to prove that was correctly corrected, with the right evidence, with all special things to allow the auditor say, okay, this report is correct. So if you don't design the system with this in mind, probably you will have some things that won't work. And the only way to make tech people like me to understand all these things is to have ESG people inside the team. So they guide us about what things are correct or not, or are valid or not. And the other thing is you need to be prepared to move forward very, very fast. Why? Because if you want to, for example, we are based on Spain, but we sell on France, we sell in Portugal, in Italy, and all these countries have their own regulation. Yeah, there are one global for Europe, but there are other regulations. And if we go to the other side of the Atlantic Sea, you have a totally different regulation. If you prepare a system that is only prepared for one regulator or for one system, you cannot scale, you cannot grow, you cannot open markets, or the time that you need to move to these markets is too much, too expensive, or it's not possible at all because you don't have the resources. So for me, these are the two key points. One is a deep knowledge about ESG and how the data is organized and what are the characteristics of the data that you need to collect. And the other one is be very pragmatic and open. Don't focus only in one market, don't focus only in one report, because maybe you need more.
There's one thing, and once again, I'm going off topic, but there's one thing that we've been discussing a lot during the past maybe 6 or 7 months, because, well, you have, and Vesi was talking about ISSB, that it's becoming increasingly important in the rest of the world. We have ESRS in Europe. We have obviously GRI, we have SASB, maybe you have other clients with Dow Jones Sustainability Index or whatever. I think ESRS are super complex. They are they are hard to understand. They are hard to navigate. Companies who are reporting under CSRD are struggling to try to match what you're doing in one report versus the other. I've seen a lot of reports published by a lot of companies, and one of the things that we've been doing, and it's trying to make these standards more human, like maybe asking just questions and answering things. How technology can help us do that, especially because, and I'm talking to everyone who has to deal with sustainability KPIs right now here. They have to juggle with a lot of information. How to make it easier for them?
One, I think this is a good example for AI. I mean, AI is really good for summarize things and collect a lot of information and give you something that you can understand. So for me, the problem with the standards is they are written in a different language that I understand. Even if they are in Spanish, I cannot understand them. I don't know what they are asking for. And if you try to, and imagine this situation, you need to collect information about all your company. You are from ESG and you need to ask HR people, operational people, and a lot of different people that ESG is not their responsibility. And you share the guidelines of the EFRAG to one of them and say, please, fill these 20 questions. And I need to have it for tomorrow. And they say, no. Absolutely no, I'm not going to do it. But if you can give them some guidelines and say, hey, what I need here is how many men and women have in the company. As simple as that. And then you organize the information in a different way to fill the standard, you are improving your process of collecting the data and you are improving the process of generating the report. So this is where technology can help. Make the process easier, smoother, and also to reuse data. Maybe you need to present AINF and GRI, and there are some shared information. I mean, number of people in the company is the same in both. Why collect these 2 times? Because one standard requires the data in some aspect or some layout, and the other one needs a totally different layout.
And we've seen that a lot. People asking
Yeah.
the same question twice or 3 times because
Makes no sense. And this is where AI can help, and also the automatization, because if you have a CRM, why asking HR director about what are the employees? You need to click on export on SAP, and
yeah.
all is ready.
And now that we're talking about how technology can enhance people's lives, and especially in sustainability, one of the things that I've seen a lot when I talk to people, to sustainability managers or people who are in charge of taking care of sustainability data within organizations, is that they struggle a lot in engaging other teams to reply information because they have endless Excels, they have a lot of scattered data, and they have to manually pursue everyone and tell them, hey, could you please fill this cell here? This arises 2 problems. One is human, which is, I think, what we're discussing today because we're talking about technology, but at the end of the day, we are people talking to people, and it's engaging. And the other is auditing that information. I think you have created something that really helps people do this. So, and I would love to hear what Tesis does with
Well, sorry, one interesting thing you mentioned is the separation that you made in clusters, believers,
Yeah.
and something like that, also applies to the people inside the company. So
Exactly.
if you have
Clusterize your
people
people.
at top level that are believers on ESG, for sure you will have less problems to collect all this information. If they are skeptical or agnostic, I don't
Boomers.
know, yeah, boomers. If they are boomers, probably you don't have time at all.
No, but let me say the answer is easy because in some companies where I did this kind of job with a competitor, we try some experiments, gamification. So if you answer with an app to your questionnaire, you can win something, or you can an award in the company to be the first one that complete your questionnaire. And let me say, if sustainability, if behind sustainability for a company there is a strategy, real strategy, and you would like to create value, give money, give some line of the MBO for the year that you have, for every year that you have to do your sustainability report, and you need this information to be collected. Let me say why I cannot imagine with the HR a small premium to my employees or to the people that must be engaged.
bonuses and incentives, isn't it?
Yeah, bonus and incentives.
It's a two-sided. But
Spam does not work.
No, the point
Spam
is
them, no.
the point is the ROI to be calculated. If I do a report that is not accurate, and I can risk not now but in 2027 to have an auditing on my report, and I have some mistake, I can have some fines. So how I can mitigate this risk? I prefer to have engaged people that fill all the questionnaires with correct information. That's it.
And it's not only incentives like bonus, money, you can say extra day of holiday, so you can find
Absolutely.
many ways
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
because in the end, it's not their work.
Yeah, it's not daily work.
Their work is, I don't know, other things. So yeah, I think probably something like that will work better than what we usually see, that is people calling, sending emails, sending aggressive emails, please fill the
Yeah.
form now. No, this doesn't.
Doesn't work. Yeah, I know. That's the story.
Great. Now, as a last question, and obviously we'll open a Q&A, so if you have any questions, you can just start thinking about it. If you have to advise a sustainability leader starting today, what's the first smart technology investment you'd prioritize, and why?
Please.
Let me say, it depends from the ultimate scope. In each action that you have in a company, you have to fix your ultimate scope. This is a big lesson learned that I had from my American colleagues. They fixed it immediately, which is the ultimate scope that we would like to achieve. So, for sure, to study the regulation, if your ultimate scope is to be compliance. But if your ultimate scope is to sell more and use sustainability as a leverage to sell more, okay, you have to change your history, you have to explain this to your employees, to your company, your manager, to fix the MBO on this line, on this leverage, and to start with a different action. We have to study our supply chain. We have to study if our product can be eco-designed and redesigned again. If I have to study if my product can have a life of 10 years because I can repair, can reuse, blah, 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 around the product. So the action is totally demanding and depending from the ultimate scope that you fix it in top level. So the first action is depending from this.
Okay.
Start simple. I mean,
APLANET.
Yeah, for example. Now, let me. ESG inside a company is a strategy. It's not something that you can isolate only in one department, because you need to put in the same place all the company and define the strategy based on that. So until you have this level of maturity inside the company, you need to go one by one, step by step, KPI by KPI, type of KPI by type of KPI. And as soon as you see what are the trade-offs inside your company, what are the departments that are more easy to access to collect the data, what are the worst one, you need to fail very, very cheap. Because if you define a project of 10 months and then you detect that nobody wants to work with you, you waste 10 months of time and money.
Yeah.
So please start extremely simple with 2 KPIs, 3, 10.
You said something really important, which is fail cheap, and this is
Yeah.
I can't stress this enough. I know sustainability teams doesn't have a lot of budget, so if you want to keep your budget, fail cheap and become an income generator within your company. And I think the second one is also super important. Not only focusing on we have to comply and we have to spend money, we need to find a way to make money from our sustainability teams. That's a way.
With so many times that some of our clients comes with, no, I have integrated with my CRM, I have Power BI, I have API connections, I have 2 reports, I want all. And after 6 months trying to configure all of this, we detect that the people doesn't want to fill the data. So we waste a lot of time to detect that the problem is internal, that is a process that they don't develop inside, and they have not enough maturity inside the company to accomplish this big project. So please start really simple.
Fantastic.
And also, I would like to give you an insight. Yeah. When you have to develop something new, don't believe it to sales. Because they try to be really close to the customer, and they say, oh, this is really useful.
This is why we are in a different side of the table.
That's why it is separating us, yeah.
I'm joking on this, but in my past, when I was the CEO of a procurement technology, of a leader in this market, a lot of people push on me to develop something. Okay, first advice is put a contingency, because for sure you developed something that is useful for a short time and after they don't use. The second is to speak directly with the customer. Because sometimes sales guys, they have the pressure of sales, so they would like to stay close to the customer, close to the clients. But the point is that maybe clients try to bring value and to give you less value. so start to push on you to develop something that maybe is not useful for all the other customers. So it's more complicated story of
one important thing is probably the people that you are talking with to say, okay, we go ahead with this ESG project, is not the people that will develop the project.
Yeah.
So they are not in, I don't know how to say it, doing it. They want, so probably the point of view is totally different than the people that is inside the project.
In a technology company, this is the fighting more complex to manage every day.
Yes.
I know this.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this conversation. I don't know if you have any questions. Do I see? Yeah, a couple of raised hands there.
Hi, thank you both. Mario, you talked about the willingness to pay or the ease to capture the willingness to pay of those people that really value sustainability. And I believe that is relatively simple, let's say. And large-scale impact will be met if we manage to convince people that don't value sustainability by itself or don't look for a product that it's sustainable. And I wanted to ask you if there's, if you know any use case or if you are using the data you generate to really improve products or services in order to make them more attractive, more competitive for people that don't value sustainability, but that are just looking for an improved experience in the product or service.
Another question? Easy? No, okay. Let me say, some companies started a long time ago. Imagine the history of Lavazza. Lavazza started speaking about sustainability really a long time ago, and they create a product. The name, if I remember well, is Terra. Coming from sun cultivation, super sustainable, without deforestation, before the law, before this regulation. So the point is that if I understand really well your question, to create value around sustainability and people that are working around sustainability, if you don't have the strategy in the top level of your company, let me say, the company will have sustainability as a cost, as a suffering process that they have to do for the law, for the regulation. But as the speaker, sorry, I don't remember the name of the woman. Vesi. As Vesi said, the difficulties now is to change perspective. Forget the law. And imagine that you have to create value with sustainability. How many actions I have to put in my process, in my new process? How can I redesign my process to create value with sustainability? So it's a totally change of perspective. If you don't have this at top level, let me say, it's impossible. You are only a volunteer, but you cannot create value for people and for company. That's the story. But nowadays, I see a lot of companies, I repeat it, maybe in food processing and in fashion and luxury, they are investing the same, a lot of money they have a huge budget on this, because they understood that reputation is a super value. And they cannot destroy a reputation in one day. They cannot have a claim. So they understood that this is a value. I don't know if you read in a newspaper 3-4 months ago all the problems with some really important brand in fashion in Italy, when they discovered that their supply chain is totally out of control, they are disrupting labor, a complicated story. But the truth is that there is no governance, there is no process, there is no technology to control them, and they, in one day, had a lot of bad news on the magazines, in the net, on the Instagram, and so on. So people, overall, the future consumers are really sensitive on this. So the point is, if I don't think that everyone must be a missionary, but if the top level understand that it can be a value, all the strategy is like a cascade, all the strategy can change.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Any other question? Yep, one there. Just 1 second.
Hi. You are talking about data, about KPIs, different objectives and strategy. But my point is how you verify all the data that you could collect and define its objectives in order to ensure that all that data is true.
Good question.
Yeah. Avoid manual actions. I mean, you cannot be 100% sure that all is correct, because sometimes you decide the systems that can fail. I mean, there is no secure way, and there is not always working. And if there are human interaction, the human can make mistakes, 1 0 less or something like that, and your data is totally not correct. So my suggestion is try to automate as much as possible. If you can extract the information from one system and load it directly, will work better than manually copy and paste or ask one person to fill the data. But I know it's tricky because there are many systems inside a company, and probably won't be an easy project. And this is why I suggest to start simple. Maybe you can start with human resources that are more or less under control, and it's something that you generate 1 time per year, okay? And then move with other that you collect more often. But unfortunately, 100% is not sure.
Even though 50 sometimes, because it's not related with data, even though we're coming that data. Of course, even if you use digital information, or even if you're having a system, where it's coming, the data, who verify, how is uploaded in the system.
Okay.
I think that's the part of the process when we can.
Yes, yeah. When we comment before that you need a process about the ESG data, is because of that. Maybe you have one person that fills the data, another person that is trained on this kind of data, that have more context, that maybe have some history about what the data should look like, can verify that this data looks correct and with the right evidence. Maybe you have one consumption, but the file is not the invoice. Okay, this data is not correct. You push it back. Please give me the right one. So you need to define a process to double check that all the data is 99.9999 perfect and be more confident with the regulator or when you present your insights to whatever in the company.
And at the end of the story, I don't know if it's in 2027, your report will be submitted to an audit. So the commercial report, the sustainability report, and the integrated reporting. Do you know the integrated reporting? Okay, because you have to find in your sustainability idea, on your sustainability goals, which is the impact on your investment and which is the bridge on your economical report. And if there is no coherency in this data, something is wrong. So for sure the mechanism can be controlled. But guys, this is only the first step. Because imagine that in future, you will have another calculation really complicated, but more scientific, that is circularity. Because just to give you the true, hey, we can reduce impact only reducing waste. To reduce waste, we have only 3 chances: repair, reuse, revamp. So the point is how we, in the future, I did an experiment with a building company, how to calculate the circularity. This is the next frontier in technology, because you have to bring all data of your raw material, track and trace if this raw material coming from reused are virgin, and which is the transformation, that is a sustainability report, and the outcome, in which way you can reuse, you can revamp, and become circularity, or how much of this product can be waste. So the really difficult ways will be the next step. The next level will be the calculation of circularity.
Okay. One last thing. But, I said before that start simple. One of the good things is you can start simple, tracking some KPIs and ensure that your process works. This process of fill the data, validate the data, collect the data, all the steps that you need to double check that the data is correct is something that you can test with different business units and see what works better. So if you imagine your strategy of data collection for the whole company and tend to implement it, probably you will have some mistakes and you will waste your time. So start simple, double check that the process is correct and works for your company, and then try to move to other business unit or other kind of KPIs.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And thank you, guys.